Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I'm going to talk about one of these fitness stations and how this could be very helpful in a survival scenario, prepping, homesteading. Actually, I'm one of those guys who just can take an everyday object and think to myself, what can I do this in this scenario, and I'm going to show you several things you can do today with just this very simple rudimentary fitness apparatus. But before we start, if you're interested in detective stories, there will be a link to my book called Blood Crosses. The link will be in the description. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, take a look, I would say. So, let's start with the most obvious thing. If you're going to buy one of these fitness stations, and this is just a very simple one, you would say there are not many things you can do with this, but the basic things of this is actually just for pull-ups, for your muscles and shoulders, and also for your muscles here, and also for some abs. So those are just the basic things you can do with this, but you can just also expand it with just, you don't need to buy one of those fitness gym apparatuses that cost like $2,000 or euros. You just need a few adjustments and you can change it to something very handy. So, for example, with just a little pulley system, and this will come in later on in the video, that could be very handy. You can just attach to it, attach whatever apparatus you got, some weight, and you got a little pulley system. And you can also train some of your, how do you say this? I don't know how you call these muscles here in English, but you know, you catch the drift what I mean. And of course, let me put this here. And of course, something for squatting that you can do. That you can perhaps use this as a way to keep your weights on, so it doesn't fall on you when you're training solo. So these are just a few of the things you can do with this for gym fitness. And why could this be important? Well, for example, during COVID we saw people could not leave their house and they wanted to do something. So if you're going to do something, you have to make it a little bit more, how do you say this, useful. So training your body is a very useful way to get through the day, and it's not only during a pandemic that you cannot go out, it can also be during civil problems, high crime rate that you cannot go to the gym or outside and you have to do something. Training your body is very good to get some muscles, and like I said, it is a very simple apparatus, but you can train all sorts of muscles with it. So that's the first thing that you can do. We're going to the next one now. Another thing that you can do with this is using to process meat from game. So if you caught some bigger animal like a deer, a boar, or you just have pigs or goats, you can just use this station to process them, hang them by the feet, bucket beneath it, and then you can process it much more easier, and you can even spread the legs wide so you can process it on a very easy way. I don't have a deer now to show, but it is something that you can just take, or with only a few screws, take out of each other, put it in the garage, put it outside, and process your meat from the game. So that's also a very handy thing that you can do. You can also use the pulley system for that if it's a little bit heavier to keep it up. So yeah, that's the second thing you can do with this. The third thing you can do with this is use it as your bug out station, I would say. So we all know if you are a guy and you have one of these things in your house, it is usually in a place that is out of sight for your special little lady because she wants to keep the house neat. So this will be usually in your garage or in a hallway, porch, whatever. It's in a place that it's a little bit out of sight, but you can use this station then, if you're not going to use it, as your bug out station. So you can hang stuff on that you can directly grab on. So for example, you have your bug out bag, you have your bug out clothing, and you have your rifle hanging just all in the same place, and it's something that you can just take and you're gone with only a few seconds. So that's very handy. That's all the stuff that you need for a bug out is ready to take, ready to go. Bug out, clothing, rifle, and you can just leave the house. Usually this will be in more of a central place, but within half a minute you have everything you need, everything ready for at hand, and you can go out. Because usually, and this is something that I noticed, every time I had my bug out bag somewhere ready, that especially the lady that is cleaning the house or doing a project, she takes the bug out bag. Oh, it stands in my way. Oh, it's not supposed to be standing here. She takes it away and put it somewhere else. And then when the time comes that you need to evacuate, where is it? It's gone. Where is it? Oh no, I don't know where I put it. Yep, those are the things that this could solve, because it is something on a place that your special little lady will not touch, so to say. So no bad words about women, but a lot of them have this quirk. So this is a solution for that. So we're going to the next one. So another thing that you can do with this, use it as a sort of armory. I know this is not as good as a gun safe, and perhaps it's in the middle of the open, and you would say, yeah, but if somebody breaks in, they can take they have direct access to your weapons. But usually when you're in a situation where there is civil problems, crime spree going on, or it's unsafe to go outside, usually you will have somebody guarding the fortress, is what I'm trying to say. So it's not like, oh, there is riots going on, there are this and this going on, I cannot just go outside, it's not safe. So I'm going to take everybody and just leave the house unprotected. No. Usually when shit hit the fan that bad, you will need your firearms ready. So a gun safe is, it's not legal to keep it out of a gun safe, but the problem is when civil law is falling away because some criminals are running amok or riots or whatever, then you need your weapons at the ready for any second if they try to break in. So usually there will be somebody at home, you need your weapons ready, so in this way everybody can just take the weapons and try to defend the castle, so to say. So there is, with this very simple installation, there is just room for 4 rifles. You can hang as many rifles as you want with a sling, you can hang a bow, arrows, everything is ready, and every member of the family can take a weapon and directly secure their part of the perimeter against robbers, invaders, looters, whatever you got. And it is a very simple way to make yourself ready for that. And you can also hang some bulletproof vests or tactical vests around it, or your bug out bags together, in case, like I said before, in case you need to bug out in a very quickly way. So yeah, that is just a fun little thing to keep things a little bit ready at hand in case the worst case scenario will happen. So next to a place to keep your firearms, you can also use this as a target for if you're going to shoot with a rifle, or you want to train with a rifle but you don't have a good stand. Yeah, I know what people will say, you can just use some cans and use it to shoot that, but sometimes you want some target. For example, you can hang just a rope, just 2 ropes, an iron plate, and that way you don't always have to get back and lift the cans up or put them in a good place. So, and also for archery, you can just set this up wherever you want. It's very light to take, and you can just hang a bale of hay or some straw targets around this, and that way you have a good how do you say this? Targeting system for practicing archery and also rifle fire. For rifle fire, I would suggest that you're a very good shot, because if you're going to hit this, with higher calibers, yeah, that could damage your fitness system. So that's on your own risk, but it's how do you say this? A good alternative if you can afford it, so to say. So we're going to the next part. The laundry need to be done during a bug-in scenario or some other emergency scenario, and this could just be a good way to hang your clothes. There are several bars. You can hang ropes or tape them in several patterns, and that way you can hang smaller pieces of clothing and let them to dry inside, whether you're in an apartment or on the countryside, and you can do it in a porch, in a greenhouse, whatever you have that is covering, or a garage, whatever it's covering, you can dry your clothing that way, and you can just improvise something that it can fit all the clothes that you need to wash and dry, so to say. So that's another thing you can do. It sounds a little bit boring, but the laundry needs to be done even in shit hit the fan, especially in shit hit the fan, I would say. Another thing that you can do is, and it is mostly for people with back problems, but during a shit hit the fan scenario or whatever scenario, and you have to work harder or do more physical labor. Certain people who do not go to the gym regularly, their backs will not be that trained, and if they have to do hard labor, so to say, that could have some problem, and they could have some back problems. That so not only for training your back, but also if you have back pain, it can help, especially if you have spinal problems, like decompress. You can decompress your spine by just hanging perhaps a few minutes a day, and that way you can decompress your spine or lighten up the load of your back muscles, and that is also something that you can do. Depending on what condition you have, hanging is a good way to decompress your spine if you have problems with that. Another is perhaps silly thing, but you can use it as a sort of step ladder, is so to say. What do I mean by that? If you have, for example, a wall, but yeah, you want to defend the fortress, so to say, you can put a plank on top of this, and you can climb on top of it, stand here, and use it to shoot over a wall to defend your property. So that's also something you can do. Another thing I would say you can use it for is as a sort of escape tool. So in case there are perhaps, I don't know, gangs or whatever, you have a certain place in your house, not house, but on the courtyard of your property, and yeah, you want to create an extra escape place. This could be something very handy, something that you can just climb up, put your feet on top of that, put your feet perhaps on this, and you can climb over a wall that is much higher than you would be able to climb if you don't have a ladder. So yeah, you can put it in a certain place, perhaps in your courtyard, and use it as an emergency escape place, or an escape route, so to say. So that's another thing you can do with this. So another fun thing you can do with this, use it as a sort of work table. So if you want to have a table that you can gather around, or hang stuff, you can hang tools or other stuff on this. I use a wooden plank. I use now these little mattress, but just to show you, you can put stuff on top of this and use it as a sort of workbench. That's the word that I'm looking for. Workbench, hang stuff, and that way you have an improvised workbench to do some gardening or to do some small projects. You won't be able to fix your car on this, but to do some small projects, especially if you live in an apartment, for example, and you want, and especially the lady doesn't want you to ruin the table with gears, tools, materials, all that stuff. So that way you are a little bit further away, and you can do it, or you can use it as an extra workbench, so to say. And like I said before, you can use a wooden plank, put it here, and use it as a stand to shoot over walls, or as an escape route, so to say. So to the next one. Certain people have perhaps a bike that could fit, that you can use this to put a bike on top of this and work on the bench, work on the bike while standing up, because a lot of people they have to work on a bicycle and they don't have the proper materials or support to put it upside down and do the work. Then this could be something that you can put a bicycle on top, upside down or straight up, or hang it in a certain way, like with a pulley or something that you can hang it here, and that way you can work on your bicycle without lowering your back and perhaps getting into on your knees and your elbows. So that could be something else that you can do with this. So another thing you can do with this is use it as a woodworking station. So for example, yeah, it's hard to do with one hand, but you can just take some wooden planks or perhaps tree logs and just start using it to saw through it without having everybody has done this, that you put it on the ground with only a branch beneath it and it's going wobbly. So in this way you can do it standing up and do it perhaps more precise and do it in a right way, so you will not abuse your tools. So as a woodworking station, it is also something great to have. Not only for wood, but if you're going to do some sewing or adjustments to your clothing, you can just use this in several ways, by hanging or putting the sleeves on top of the holders, and that way you have an open space that you can just try to sew or repair clothing or bags on top of it, without doing the origami dance by putting it on your lap, having the risk to stick a needle in a place that you don't want, or you cannot see what you're doing. This way you have easier access to all the sides of the clothing to repair it. So that's another thing. Another thing that you can do, and this is especially if people have tried to break into your house, that for example a door is broken off its hinges or is just totally whacked out, and we all know what will happen then. You have to wait till the insurance arrives, and that can take days in best time, but it can also take weeks, and yeah, your door is out of the hinges. But the problem can be you cannot just do adjustments to it, because you will wait for the insurance guy to come by and make assessment of the damages that's been done. And if you already try to repair the door, they can say, oh, but it's damaged from repairing the door, so we will not fully pay out. So what you can do with something like this is you can make boards on top of it and just place it against the door and try to make it heavy with weights that nobody just can push from the outside, can just push it in. So it's a little bit improvised, but it's something that could happen, and yeah, that I hope you never have to do, but it's something that another thing you can do with this. So not only in the upside position it can be handy, like you can see, if you put it on its side, you can also do some other things with this. For example, if you need another bed, but yeah, you cannot just lay a mattress or a sleeping bag on the ground because of perhaps moist, cold, animals, whatever, you can put it on the side. You can use boards, or you can use ropes to make, or one of those hang mats that you can attach to the side, and you can make an improvised bed. So another person can sleep on top of it. And another thing you can do with this is, if there is a flood or there is a probability of a flood, you can just take some, either you can take netting and you put all empty PVC bottles beneath it, attach it, and you got an improvised floating device. Or you can just take empty barrels and bite them like you do in the Scouts beneath them, and that way you also got an improvised boat. Whether it's handy to sit on, probably not, but it's better than nothing, and it's especially handy when there are weaker people that you need to evacuate during a flood. For example, you got elderly, sick people, bedridden people, perhaps smaller children. You can put them on that and you can guide it over the water with of several persons for everyone to keep balance, and also to keep everyone to keep the weaker ones safe on an improvised floating device. So those are two things you can do with this if you put it on its side. So another thing you can do with this is as for food and water. First of all, of course, if you can make something here like a fire or whatever you have, you can use like something like a pulley system or just hang it up. A pot that you can hang over the fire, so that way the pot, whatever pot you got, it will not be directly in the fire, because certain pots, this is one made out of cast iron, this can go anywhere. But if you got pots that cannot be set on fire directly, that way you can just leave it hanging there, and you can do a long soft boil that is sometimes needed for certain stews, so that it will not make direct contact with the fire. So that's also something you can do. Or if you have one of those gravity filters in bigger bags, you can hang them, put water on top of it, and let it filter out in certain bottles or drinking containers directly that way. So yeah, that's probably the last thing I'm going to say. Perhaps I will, whenever I'm sleeping tonight, I will probably think of something else. But these are all the things you can do with something very simple device like this simple fitness training station. And yeah, I would say buy one, because it's something that you can do so many things with, and especially for your body, to keep some strength, to keep you fit and strong in the long run. And it will also give you, how do I say this, discipline, because since I bought this thing, every morning I wake up and I do my certain exercises, because I will have to go to the guinea pigs anyway. So, and whenever I just walking by, I think, I will do 5. And that way you create a habit of, it's like, instead of taking the lift, you will take the elevator, you will take the stairs. And that way, whenever I pass this thing, because I have to go around here a few times a day, I think, why not? And I do my exercise that way. And that will give you kind of the discipline, and also gives you a little bit of the challenge to make a good habit out of it. So I hope this video gave you some ideas and help made you perhaps realize certain things. And the most important thing I want to give you with this video is do more with less. Try to think of every day everything that you got, even every device, every thing that you own, and think, what can I do more with this? Because that's the prepper mindset. Do more with less. So I'm going to stop this video now, because otherwise I can just go on like this. So I will see you in the next video. Cheers, see you next time.